Greetings, fellow travelers through time. Settle in, find your comfort, and prepare for another journey into the depths of our shared past. Tonight, we unearth a truly astonishing practice from the dawn of civilization, a ritual that speaks volumes about how our ancient ancestors honored their dead, long before empires rose and fell. It's a story of artistry, belief, and the very human need to remember. As always, your presence here means the world. A simple like, a thoughtful comment, or a share helps these stories reach more eager minds. Now, let us begin and immerse ourselves in the quiet whispers of history. Deep, calm, professional voice, with a faint, steady crackling of a distant campfire. Welcome back, everyone, to Vibing History. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey not just through time, but into the very essence of human connection to the past, a connection so profound that it manifested in some of the most hauntingly beautiful artifacts ever discovered. We're talking about a time before the widespread use of pottery, a period known as the Pre-Pottery Neolithic roughly spanning from 8,000 to 6,000 BC. That's an astonishing 9,000 years ago, a millennium so distant it almost defies our modern comprehension. Imagine, if you will, the sun-baked plains of the ancient Levant, the cradle of civilization, a landscape that has witnessed the very dawn of settled human life. Here, amidst the nascent villages and the first stirrings of agriculture, a remarkable and deeply personal practice emerged: the creation of plastered human skulls. These aren't just bones. They are some of the oldest forms of art in the Middle East, tangible whispers from ancestors long gone, speaking volumes about the reverence and elaborate burial customs of these prehistoric communities. These skulls, often found in and around the legendary city of Jericho, weren't simply unearthed. They were meticulously crafted, transformed from the stark reality of bone into something resembling a living, breathing visage. The process, as archaeologists have pieced together, was both delicate and profound. Typically, the jawbone would be carefully removed, a subtle alteration that speaks to a specific aesthetic or perhaps a practical consideration. And here's a fascinating detail. Signs of wear suggest these objects were handled, perhaps revered, over extended periods. This wasn't a one-time burial and forgotten ritual. These were objects that lived alongside the living, held, observed, and integrated into the daily life of the community. These unique artifacts were often interred alongside other human remains, forming a poignant tableau beneath the very floors of their homes. Think about that for a moment. The physical presence of their deceased loved ones, not just in memory, but beneath their feet, integrated into the very foundation of their daily existence. Each cache of these plastered skulls, though found across various sites, often displays a consistent style, a localized artistic signature, suggesting a shared communal understanding of this deeply personal practice. Observing these ancient portraits, a common characteristic emerges: a subtle backward tilt of the skull. Whether this was intentional, symbolic, or simply a byproduct of the plastering process, we can only speculate. What is clear, however, is the lack of a discernible pattern regarding the age or gender of the individuals chosen for this elaborate treatment. Men, women, and even children were honored in this way, suggesting a comprehensive communal reverence for all who had passed. The story of their discovery is almost as captivating as the skulls themselves. It began, somewhat serendipitously, in the 1930s with the archaeologist John Garstang at Jericho. He accidentally unearthed one of these enigmatic skulls, a solitary clue to a forgotten practice. But it was in the 1950 that the true scale of this discovery came to light, thanks to the pioneering work of British archaeologist Kathleen Kenyon. Her excavations at Jericho revealed a treasure trove of these plastered skulls, each one a testament to the sophistication and emotional depth of these ancient peoples. Today, these remarkable artifacts reside in prestigious institutions around the world, from the British Museum to the Royal Ontario Museum, allowing us to gaze upon the faces of those who lived 9,000 years ago. Beyond Jericho, other sites have yielded similar discoveries, expanding our understanding of this widespread practice. Ain Ghazal, near Amman in Jordan, and Tel Ramad in Syria have also contributed to our collection of these ancient portraits. While a majority of the plastered skulls unearthed belong to adult males, the presence of those belonging to women and children reinforces the idea that this was a universal practice of respect, not limited by gender or age. The archaeological significance of these plastered skulls is immense. They represent some of the earliest forms of burial practices in the southern Levant, offering a window into the evolving relationship between the living and the dead. During the Neolithic period, the deceased were frequently interred directly beneath the floors of their homes, a powerful symbol of their continued presence within the family unit. In some instances, a plastered skull would even be placed beneath a plastered floor, creating a layered tapestry of remembrance within the very architecture of their lives. The process of creating these lifelike visages was nothing short of remarkable. After the skull was removed, its cavities would be carefully filled with plaster. But they didn't stop there. To breathe life back into these ancestral forms, shells were often meticulously inset for eyes, lending an uncanny, almost ethereal gaze. Paint, derived from natural pigments, was then used to represent facial features, to delineate hair, and even to adorn them with mustaches, adding an unparalleled level of detail and personalization. The interpretation of these plastered skulls remains a subject of ongoing debate among scholars, yet both prevailing theories offer compelling insights into the mind of early humans. Many believe that this elaborate burial practice represents an early form of ancestor worship. In this view, the plastered skulls served as powerful effigies, tangible focal points for commemorating and respecting family ancestors, a direct link to the lineage and wisdom of those who came before. Imagine the rituals, the stories passed down through generations, centered around these venerated objects. However, another intriguing, though less substantiated theory suggests a link to the practice of head hunting, with the skulls serving as trophies. While this idea offers a more dramatic narrative, there is currently scarce evidence to fully support it. The meticulous care, the artistry, and the consistent placement within domestic settings tend to lean more towards a reverential, familial purpose. Regardless of the exact intent, one thing is certain: these plastered skulls provide invaluable evidence about the earliest artistic endeavors and religious practices in the ancient Near East, painting a vivid picture of a world far more complex and emotionally rich than we might initially imagine. The artistry involved in these ancient creations has garnered significant praise, even from modern scholars. In a review of literature and specimens, Schmant-Besserat lauded the craftsmanship of one particular example, Skull 88-1. She described it as exhibiting a remarkable sophistication in the treatment of the human visage, the work of an individual in full command of their craft. She highlighted the skillful handling of the difficult plaster technology, the accurate capture of facial anatomy, and the masterful execution of the modeling. The eyebrows, she noted, and the dreamy expression of the eyes were particularly impressive. To achieve such a level of detail and emotional nuance with the rudimentary tools and materials of 9,000 years ago is truly astounding, a testament to the inherent human drive to create, to connect, and to commemorate. These incredible finds have been documented across a wider geographical spread than just Jericho. Locations like Beis Amoun, Kfar ha-Horsh, and Yiftahel in the Levant, along with Tel Ramad and Tel Awad in Syria, and even Kursk Huruk in Turkey, have yielded similar plastered skulls, underscoring the regional prevalence and cultural significance of this practice. While direct written references from this pre-literate period are, by definition, non-existent, later historical texts hint at the enduring presence of similar practices or beliefs. One such reference is found in the ancient Mesopotamian narrative, the tale of Akhat, which, though much later, speaks to the deep cultural resonance of ancestral figures and their continued role in the lives of the living. As we conclude this segment, take a moment to consider the profound implications of these plastered skulls. They challenge our modern notions of burial, of art, and of our connection to those who came before us. They are not merely archaeological curiosities. They are a direct, visceral link to the emotional and spiritual lives of people who walked this earth 9 millennia ago. They remind us that the human desire to honor, to remember, and to keep our ancestors close is a thread woven deeply into the fabric of our shared history. In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into the archaeological journey of discovery, exploring the methods and insights that allowed us to unearth these incredible ancestors and truly bring their stories to light. So, settle in and prepare to go even further back in time with vibing history. Deep, calm voice, with the subtle crackle of a distant fire and the gentle hum of wind in the background. Last time, we touched upon the enigmatic nature of these plastered skulls, these silent sentinels from a world long past, hinting at a profound connection to their ancestors. But how did these incredible artifacts, these whispers from 9 millennia ago, first emerge from the earth to captivate our modern imaginations? That, my friends, is a story of chance, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. Imagine the dusty, sun-baked landscapes of the ancient Levant, a region steeped in layers of human history, each stratum holding secrets yet to be unveiled. It was here, amidst the timeless rhythms of the Middle East, that these extraordinary remnants of the Pre-Pottery Neolithic B period began their slow, deliberate journey back into the light. These skulls, as we discussed, are more than mere bones. They are intricate sculptures, a testament to an early form of portraiture, painstakingly crafted by hands that shaped the very dawn of human artistry. The meticulous process often involved the careful removal of the jawbone, a detail that speaks volumes about the reverence and precision employed by these ancient artisans. And the signs of wear. They suggest these weren't merely static displays, but objects handled, perhaps revered, over generations, their smooth surfaces telling silent tales of touch and ritual. Each cache, each discovery, unveils a consistent stylistic thread, a communal artistic language weaving through the fabric of their ancient society. And the backward tilt, the absence of a clear pattern concerning age or gender in their selection, these are the subtle clues, the breadcrumbs left behind for us to follow as we piece together their deeper meaning. Now, let's cast our minds back to the 1930s. The world was a very different place, and the science of archaeology was still, in many ways, finding its footing. It was in this era that a momentous, yet entirely accidental discovery occurred. The renowned archaeologist John Garstang, working at the fabled site of Jericho in Palestine, stumbled upon the first of these plastered skulls. Picture the scene, the careful excavation, the removal of countless layers of earth, and then this unexpected form emerging from the ancient soil. A human skull, yes, but transformed, imbued with a lifelike quality by the plaster that encased it. It must have been a truly breathtaking moment, a jolt of recognition across the vast expanse of time. Garstang's discovery, while groundbreaking, was just the prelude. The real revelation, the true unveiling of the scope and significance of these artifacts, would come in the 1950s through the pioneering work of another towering figure in archaeology, Kathleen Kenyon. Kenyon, with her methodical approach and keen eye for detail, systematically unearthed a number of these plastered skulls from the very same site of Jericho. Her discoveries weren't isolated incidents. They were a collection, a chorus of ancient faces that spoke of a widespread and deeply ingrained practice. Today, thanks to Kenyon's tireless efforts, these extraordinary artifacts are preserved and studied in prestigious institutions across the globe. You can find them gracing the collections of the British Museum, their silent gazes inviting contemplation. The Ashmolean Museum, the Cambridge Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology, the Royal Ontario Museum, the Chow Chak Wing Museum in Sydney, and the Jordan Archaeological Museum all are custodians of these ancient portraits, each skull a window into a world that existed 9 millennia ago. But Jericho, as significant as it is, was not the sole repository of these fascinating finds. The archaeological spade has brought forth similar discoveries from other crucial sites. Near Amman, in modern-day Jordan, the site of Ain Ghazal has yielded its own collection of plastered skulls, further expanding our understanding of their geographical reach and cultural prevalence. And across the border, in Syria, the ancient settlement of Tel Ramad has also offered up these captivating effigies. While many of the plastered skulls unearthed to date belong to adult males, we also have poignant examples from women and children, reminding us that this practice encompassed the full spectrum of their ancient communities. These plastered skulls, my friends, are far more than just curious objects. They represent some of the earliest and most profound forms of burial practices in the southern Levant. Think about it. During the Neolithic period, a time when human societies were undergoing radical transformations, the deceased were often laid to rest not in distant cemeteries, but intimately, right beneath the very floors of their homes. Imagine living your daily life, walking over the earth that cradled your ancestors, their presence a constant, tangible reminder. In some instances, a plastered skull would be interred beneath a plastered floor, a remarkable continuity, a symbolic connection between the living and the dead woven directly into the fabric of their domestic existence. The process itself was a profound act of remembrance and artistry. The skull, once removed, would have its cavities meticulously filled with plaster, creating a smooth, malleable surface. And then the true transformation would begin, to imbue these skulls with a lifelike quality, to truly resurrect the visage of the departed. Artisans would inset shells for eyes, their pearlescent gleam mimicking the sparkle of life. Paint would then be skillfully applied to represent facial features, the gentle curve of a brow, the subtle lines of a mouth, perhaps even hair and mustaches, adding a striking realism to these ancient portraits. The archaeological significance of these practices is immense, opening up a rich tapestry of interpretation. Some scholars propose that this elaborate burial ritual points to an early form of ancestor worship. In this view, the plastered skulls served as powerful effigies, tangible representations used to commemorate and honor beloved family ancestors, keeping their memory alive, their presence enduring within the community. It speaks to a deep respect, a profound connection that transcended the boundaries of life and death. However, as with many aspects of the ancient world, other interpretations exist, sparking scholarly debate. Some experts have cautiously suggested a potential link to the practice of head hunting, viewing these plastered skulls as a form of trophy. Yet, it must be stated that the evidence to support this particular theory is scarce. The prevailing academic consensus leans towards the ancestor worship hypothesis, given the care, artistry, and domestic context of their discovery, regardless of the precise interpretation. What is undeniable is that these plastered skulls provide invaluable evidence about the earliest arts and religious practices in the ancient Near East, offering a rare glimpse into the spiritual and artistic consciousness of a people living 9,000 years ago. The level of artistry displayed in these ancient creations is truly astounding, particularly when we consider the era in which they were made. In Schmant Besserat's insightful review of the literature and specimens, the artisanship of one particular example, Skull 88-1, is lauded with particular admiration. She describes it as exhibiting a remarkable sophistication in the treatment of the human visage, a testament to the skill of an individual in full command of their craft. Imagine the mastery required to handle the difficult plaster technology with such dexterity, to capture the subtle nuances of facial anatomy with such precision, and to execute the modeling with such undeniable talent. The area of the eyebrows, she notes, and the almost dreamy expression of the eyes are particularly impressive. This is not crude, rudimentary art. This is the work of a skilled hand, an artist who understood form, emotion, and the profound power of representation. These incredible finds extend beyond Jericho, as the author mentions other locations that have yielded similar treasures: Beis Amoun, Kfar ha-Horsh, and Yiftahel in the Levant, Tel Ramad and Tel Awad in Syria, and Kursk Huryuk in Turkey. Each new site adds another piece to this fascinating puzzle, gradually illuminating the widespread nature of this practice across the ancient Near East. These plastered skulls, unearthed from the dusty layers of millennia, are more than just archaeological finds. They are the silent witnesses of a vibrant, deeply spiritual culture, a testament to humanity's enduring need to connect with its past, to honor its ancestors, and to leave an indelible mark on the sands of time. They are, in essence, the very first portraits, a profound declaration of identity and memory from the dawn of civilization. We've journeyed through the raw material of these ancient practices, seen them emerge from the dust of millennia. Now, let's peel back the layers of earth and time and delve into the heart of what these plastered skulls truly represented. What did they mean to the people who lovingly crafted them, those who lived 9 millennia ago in the nascent dawn of civilization? Imagine, if you will, a world where the veil between life and death felt thinner, where the ancestors were not distant memories but tangible presences, watching over the living from beneath the very floors of their homes. This is the world that gives rise to the enigmatic plastered skulls. These aren't merely decorative objects. They are profound statements, born from a spiritual landscape vastly different from our own. When archaeologists meticulously uncover these skulls, often interred alongside other human remains, what they are truly unearthing are the echoes of ancient beliefs and rituals. The consistent style within each cache, the backward tilt of the heads, these are not random occurrences. They speak of established practices, of a shared understanding within a community regarding how their ancestors should be honored. One of the most compelling interpretations of these plastered skulls points towards an early form of ancestor worship. Consider the act itself. Taking the skull of a deceased loved one, carefully removing the jawbone, and then painstakingly rebuilding the face with plaster. Imagine the skill, the patience, the sheer devotion required. Shells are inset for eyes, paint used to define features, hair, and even mustaches. This isn't a quick, perfunctory act. This is a ritual of remembrance, an elaborate process of bringing the essence of the departed back into the tangible world of the living. These weren't just anonymous remains. They were individuals, family members, perhaps even revered leaders. By creating these lifelike effigies, the living were perhaps not only commemorating, but also actively engaging with their ancestors. Were these skulls consulted for guidance? Did they serve as focal points for prayers, offerings, or communal ceremonies? While the exact rituals remain shrouded in the mists of time, the meticulous craftsmanship strongly suggests a profound spiritual connection. The very fact that signs of wear are evident on some of these skulls, suggesting they were handled over time, further strengthens the idea of their active role in the lives of the community. They weren't simply buried and forgotten. They were part of an ongoing dialogue with the past. Now, it's worth noting that some scholars have offered a more unsettling interpretation, linking these plastered skulls to the practice of head hunting. The idea being that these could be trophies, symbols of conquest or power. However, the evidence to support this theory remains scarce, and it struggles to reconcile with the evident care and artistry poured into their creation. Trophies are often meant to intimidate or display dominance. These plastered skulls, with their serene, almost dreamy expressions, suggest a very different intent, one of reverence, continuity, and perhaps even comfort. Consider the archaeological significance. During the Neolithic period, the deceased were frequently buried directly beneath the floors of their homes. It paints a picture of a society where the line between the living and the dead was not a sharp divide, but a permeable membrane. To then remove the skull, transform it, and reinter it, perhaps even beneath a freshly plastered floor, suggests a deeply integrated spiritual practice. The ancestors weren't banished to a distant graveyard. They were literally beneath your feet, part of the fabric of daily life, their presence a constant reminder of lineage and heritage. The meticulous attention to detail, the creation of these portraits that are now recognized as some of the earliest sculptural examples in the history of art, speaks volumes about the value placed on the individual and their place within the collective memory. It's an almost unprecedented level of artistic expression for such an early period, pointing to a sophisticated understanding of form and a deep-seated desire to capture and preserve identity. As one review of Skull 88-1, a particular masterpiece, aptly noted, the 9,000-year-old plastered skull exhibits a remarkable sophistication in the treatment of the human visage. It exemplifies the work of an individual in full command of his or her craft, who handled the difficult plaster technology with great skill, captured the anatomy of the face, and masterfully executed the modeling. The area of the eyebrows and the dreamy expression of the eyes are particularly impressive. This isn't just a skull covered in plaster. It's a profound artistic statement, a window into the soul of a long-lost artisan and the beliefs that drove their creation. These skulls, whether from Jericho, Ain Ghazal, or Tel Ramad across the Levant, all tell a similar story. They are artifacts not just of material culture, but of a spiritual awakening. They demonstrate a human need to grapple with death, to honor those who came before, and to maintain a connection that transcended the physical realm. They are whispers from the past, echoing a profound understanding of lineage, identity, and the enduring power of memory. In these plaster faces, we see the very genesis of human artistry intertwined with the earliest expressions of religious or spiritual beliefs, laying the groundwork for millennia of human endeavor to understand and connect with the unseen world. And as we ponder these ancient effigies, we find ourselves not so different from those who crafted them, still seeking meaning in the face of the unknown, still honoring the echoes of the past. Now, as we delve deeper into these remarkable artifacts, we confront the truly astonishing aspect of the plastered skulls, their artistry. Imagine, nearly 9 millennia ago, in a world we often perceive as primitive, a sophisticated form of portraiture emerged. These aren't crude effigies. They are a testament to an intricate craft, a profound commitment, and an understanding of the human form that transcends mere functionality. The process itself was meticulous, a multi-step endeavor that speaks volumes about the reverence held for the deceased. After a period of initial burial, the skull would be carefully exhumed. This act alone suggests a deep connection, a continuation of familial bonds even beyond the grave. Then, the delicate task of removing the jawbone, a step that indicates an intentional reshaping, a desire to create a specific aesthetic. But the real magic began with the plaster. These ancient artisans, with techniques lost to time, applied layers upon layers of plaster, carefully molding and shaping it to reconstruct the facial features. This wasn't just about covering the bone. It was about recreating a semblance of life. Think of it. Each curve, each subtle contour, sculpted by hand, bringing back an echo of the individual who once lived. And to make these faces even more lifelike, shells were often meticulously inset into the eye sockets, gleaming with an almost unsettling realism. Then, pigments were used to paint on details: eyebrows, perhaps a mustache, or even hair. This wasn't a quick process. It required patience, skill, and an intimate knowledge of the human face. Consider the level of expertise involved. The plaster itself would have been a challenge to work with, requiring precise mixing and application to achieve the desired consistency and to prevent cracking. The subtle modeling, the nuanced recreation of individual features, this was not a simple task for untrained hands. It suggests a specialized craft, perhaps passed down through generations, indicating a dedicated group of individuals responsible for this sacred art. The acclaimed scholar Schmant Besserat, in her review of these artifacts, perfectly captured this mastery, highlighting one particular example, Skull 88-1. She speaks of its remarkable sophistication in the treatment of the human visage, noting the work of an individual in full command of his or her craft, who handled the difficult plaster technology with great skill, captured the anatomy of the face, and masterfully executed the modeling. She even singles out the area of the eyebrows and the dreamy expression of the eyes as particularly impressive. Imagine a piece of art from 9,000 years ago, still capable of evoking such admiration and wonder today. What's truly fascinating is the consistency and style often observed within specific caches of skulls. While individual features certainly vary, reflecting the unique individuals they represent, there's often a shared aesthetic in the way the plaster is applied, the tilt of the head, or the choice of shells for the eyes. This suggests regional styles, perhaps even specific artisan traditions, a clear indication of a developed artistic culture. These skulls, often found interred alongside other human remains, were not simply forgotten. Signs of wear suggest they were handled over time, perhaps brought out for rituals, displayed during ceremonies, or simply cherished within the family unit. This continuous interaction further reinforces the idea of ancestor veneration, of these plastered effigies serving as tangible links to those who had passed, a constant presence within the living space. From Jericho to Ain Ghazal, from Tel Ramad to Kursk Huryuk, these plastered skulls have been unearthed across various sites in the ancient Levant. While many belong to adult males, a significant number also represent women and children, underscoring that this practice was not exclusive to a particular demographic, but a universal way of honoring the deceased within these communities. Ultimately, these plastered skulls transcend mere archaeological finds. They are the oldest sculptural examples of portraiture in the history of art, offering us an unparalleled window into the artistic sensibilities, spiritual beliefs, and deeply personal connections that defined life in the pre-pottery Neolithic B period. They challenge our preconceptions of ancient societies, revealing a world far more complex, artistic, and emotionally profound than we might have ever imagined. They stand as a testament to the enduring human desire to remember, to honor, and to connect with those who came before us, a desire that spans millennia and continues to resonate in our own lives today. And so, our journey through the echoes of the pre-pottery Neolithic comes to a close. We've peered into the profound reverence and remarkable artistry of those who walked this earth millennia ago, leaving behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and challenge our understanding. I hope this deep dive into the plastered skulls has offered you a moment of peace, focus, or perhaps a gentle drift into slumber. If you enjoyed our time together, please consider liking this video, leaving a comment with your thoughts, or sharing it with someone who appreciates the quiet power of history. Your engagement truly fuels this channel. Tell me, what other ancient mysteries or untold stories would you like us to explore next? Until our next journey, farewell.